Right, everyone, thank you very much for coming. That was a great introduction. So I want to introduce you to Adrian Lomas, who is the Chief Executive of Blueleaf, which is a digital commerce agency based in Cheshire. And they have, amongst other things, a whole host of awards. So Adrian, you were Director of the Year one time. They've won awards from Waitman's for their innovation. They won awards from the Cheshire and Warrington Business Association. You were Business Leader of the Year again there, I think. And they have this fantastic client leaf, which some of which I put on the briefing, which includes Laura Ashley, one of my favourites, Red Bull, and one of the things I haven't written in his introduction is he's a bit of an adventurer himself. So, you know, fly those Red Bull planes here, but some similar stuff has happened, I know. Plus, the thing for us tonight, which is this really committed and loyal team that they've managed to build. And building on our focus for tonight around vision, Adrian set up Blueleaf from when did you first?
99.
Right, and so it's kind of not been a kind of linear path to success.
Lots of gear changes,
right,
including reverse.
So I'm hoping we're going to get some of that path out this evening and hear about the gear changes, and mostly hear about like what the vision for Blueleaf was and how you make that live on a day-to-day basis as much as we can. So, if it's okay, I'm just going to kind of dive into these questions. So Roger said something about the importance of having vision, and you work in an industry which is very competitive and very fast-moving. And in that kind of context, is something like a vision important, or is it too static?
No, I think you do need a vision. I think if you don't have a vision, then where you're actually going, it's almost like getting in a car or plane or anything like that. Which way do you want to go? Well, anyways, it's going to take you there if you don't know where you want to go. So I think it's really, really important that you do at least have a vision, or what I call a flag in the sand, which is over there, and we all look at it, we know where it is. Is it fair to say that might move? Absolutely. I think it certainly is with what we're doing. I think it is with what everybody's doing, if I'm honest about it. I think the world is changing rapidly, but at least if we're all together going in that one direction, then at least we can then make a choice to move a different place if we need to.
Great.
But yeah, vision is really important.
Great, okay. What about, like if there was something that said what Blueleaf's vision is, do you have a statement, is it on the wall? Can you even remember?
Yeah, several various to be fair. You're right, we have changed over time. When we started Blueleaf, it's not what we are now, we're completely different. So it would have been a different vision then as what it is now. But so many companies like that, aren't they? IBM with timing machines, and they always tend to change, so they've got to. But when we started, we were very much general in our marketing. We would have a go at anything if it got marketing attached to it. What our vision really was just to be a very kind, caring company which was helping people with their marketing, and probably the key word there is helping. That's what we wanted to do, was just help people with their marketing. Where it's really focused in now is inspiring great retail, and that's the passion that we have. It's all about inspiring great retail. It doesn't really say what we do, but when we look underneath about what we do, it's all about digital commerce. It's about selling things online and things like that. That's on the wall. We also have what I call a primary question, which is one of those questions which you ask yourself time and time again, and that is big on the wall as well, which is, it just quite simply says, what would the best digital agency in the world do right now? So all my team can sort of see that, and they can ask themselves, well, actually the best would do this, and the best would do that. So it's sort of a self-policing statement to help them to do the right thing effectively.
Okay. So Laura Ashley, one of your clients, inspiring great retail. Was that instrumental in shaping your relationship with Laura Ashley?
Well, Laura Ashley came to us when we were very, very general. We sort of got one of those lucky referrals. It's a long story, I can tell people some stage, but it came through a B&I referral. As people say that they don't get stuff from B&I. Well, I think when I found that I was asking for anything from everybody, I got nothing from nobody. So I think once I started to hone in into what effectively the vision is, what we're looking for, at the time it wasn't Laura Ashley. I mean, that was just somewhere where my wife would go and shop. It wouldn't be somewhere we would help any stretch of the imagination. But where it came from was that we started to help somebody who wanted their websites because they made curtains. So that was a nice referral for the B&I. So we did that, and then he then got us into Next, and they wanted the curtain website doing. So now we've done 2 curtain websites. We probably know more about curtains and websites than men should know, but we were now the experts in the country effectively for doing websites for curtains. So we didn't ever have that as a vision, but we're now in it. And we ended up doing 3 or 4. We started to become quite famous for websites for curtains. It was scary. And so Laura actually spotted this, that we've done that, rang us. I thought they were chasing my wife's credit card debt, but instead they were saying, you're the experts, can you come in and talk to us? Half the audience were saying, no, we can't work with you because you've done Next, and the other half were saying, well, that's why we've got to work with these guys, because they're the experts. So, in a roundabout thing, that wasn't our vision, but because we then got so good at retail, and because we felt that retail was never going to go away, it may change how we do things, but we're always going to have transactions. And with digital really coming up, we just felt that actually this is the thing to bet on, really, digital and retail. Let's start to mash it together, and I got rid of all the other parts of the business, which was branding and design and merchandising, and we just made us into a digital agency and then into a retail focused. So yeah, we only recently really got our focus really much sharper from Frank about it, but it's about sharing that with the team.
Right.
And it's been about making sure that outside people know about it, so we do lots of talks based on it.
And it's a very dynamic process, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's like, we know what we know roughly what we're about. We kind of, the market responds to us.
Yes.
We get clearer about what we're about in response to that.
Yeah.
And then the phone starts ringing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and now we've just been asked in by brands which I'm just gobsmacked out that we work with now. If you look at the portfolio that we've got, I am just blown away with how we've got.
Drop a few?
Yeah, it's Red Bull, Laura actually, Next. We just picked up Tate last week, and Fat Face, 20th Century Fox. It's just bewildering that we're now working with all those sort of brands. But we're actually enjoying doing it as well. You do get this scary thing where actually working with a big company, it can be arses, but it's not companies, it's all people to people. So one of the key things that we always think about is, if we go and meet an opportunity, we're really, really keen to make sure that we've got a value match with the people in that organisation that we're working with. Because if we have got a value mismatch right in the intro meeting, it's never going to go well, is it? It's always just going to be like that grain of sand in the eye, So we're matching our values with people that we're meeting from values, from client and team. And if that aligns, then great, we know we're going to get a good relationship generally.
I want to ask you a bit more about that, because I know that values is one of the ways that you make the vision really come to life for people in Blue Leaf.
Yes.
And you say a little bit about how that happens for people inside, so that when you go see a client, the people across the table from the client, they know what Blue Leaf stands for, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you do that?
I think the key thing, several things. One is about us being clear what the vision is first. So I think it's really important that we know exactly what we're going for, as in we, as in the owners or the leaders in the business. I'm very fortunate that I've got a very good co-director with me who is very aligned in what we're looking at, and the two of us have a very clear vision of what we want to be achieving, so much so that we've actually got this several key things, but one of them is like counting down. We're down to 900.
I'm guessing it's on the wall somewhere.
No, that isn't. No, that's all about the business performance more than anything. But we have countdowns, and it's like 956 days at the moment, so we want to be there.
Right.
And then we then peg it all the way back from there down into what it needs to be each sort of year and quarter and each month. And then from the month's point of view, we can say, well, guys, that's where we're going about retail. We want to get more of the vendor clients, we want to get more of those, because that is what we're doing. But like this quarter we want to be doing this month we need to be doing that. So it's about that transparency.
Plus you're measuring progress.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is one of the things that people kind of don't always seem to do when they've got vision.
Right.
It just kind of sits out somewhere, and even if there's a route map, and there often isn't, it doesn't seem to get measured. Or you've actually got measures.
We've got to. I mean, we measure it by the day. So I know exactly what all the team have done. Like today, I haven't got the stats today, but like tomorrow I will do. And then what we can then do is then work with each person individually and say, actually, how are you doing with things? What I've found about this is that I used to really hate doing appraisals, if I'm frank about it. And in the early days, I used to run the appraisals, and it's like, okay, it's another chance for them to say, can I have a pay rise? And that's what it seemed to be. And I thought, this is crap. There's got to be something better. So I introduced something called Go Sessions, which is goals and objectives. And I run the Go session every month with every one of my team. And I would sit down with them and say, okay, you know where we're going? And I show them a big picture of our passion and our vision. And so, you still on board? Yeah, great. Retail, you love it? Yeah. So they're seeing the passion and the vision. And then we look at the next sheet, which is their goals. You know, it's like, okay, so last month, let's just go through these. Yes, no, yes, yes. And we just tick them off, whether they've done them or not. And we don't really go too deep about bullshit excuses why they've not achieved it. You know, they're sat there, I want it on for next month. And then what we then do is, like February's Go session, we then transfer it over. It's a list of 5-6 goals or objectives that they want to achieve, and they set them. They just set them, and then I then say, great, well look, I'm here to support you, you know, crack on. And so each person has these goals and objectives which they set each month, and they buy into them because they've set them. The aim is not to be going, they know that the sort of mecca is to be doing sort of 700 quid a day, every day, bang, bang, bang. They know that. But they're like, oh, I only did 350, like, okay, that's fine. So where do you think? I'm going to go for 450. I want to get billable down. I want to get that, great, okay. So they've now created 3 metrics, and I just like, sit back and support.
So what do you do if someone doesn't buy into it, if they don't get it?
Well, if you don't buy into it, it's probably more that they don't buy into the values,
right,
rather than anything else. I think what I've found is that by having a clear set of values, which we've set, these 9, we recruit on those values. So when we meet people, we're like, they're either a plus. If we're not sure that they're a team player, it's plus minus. If they really are not sort of like into developing, then it's a minus. And so if they are a negative to any of our values, then we won't take them on into the team. If there's some plus minuses, then we're going to bring them in. Well, everybody we then bring in, we do like a test day. And we then just bring them in, so they have to drive in the traffic, they have to eat butties with who they're going to eat butties with, they have to play football if they need to. Do you know what I mean? They've got to play with the people they're going to play with every day.
Right.
And at the end of the day, my team was sort of saying, yeah, I like that. You know, they get on with them. We then check through, and if they're pretty much all pluses, we can have about 2 plus minuses, then they're suitable to join the team.
Okay, so that's happened right from even before they're on board then?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to know that there's a value match. And then when they come in from day one, what we're looking to do then is then just recondition any good behaviours that they're doing, you know, and if there's anything which is not quite right, we're just sort of reflecting back in private and say, actually, what about that? And that might not be suitable for that. And then we're just monitoring and supporting that throughout, you know, on the monthly Go sessions, you know.
Okay.
But they're well aware from day one what the figures are, you know, what they've got to be billing, what the team are billing.
You have to be pretty confident, don't you, that all of this, the values that people are living, the way that translates into their day-to-day objectives,
yes,
the vision, you've got to be pretty confident that means, like, if you do that stuff,
yes,
we will be successful. And
yeah.
How do you keep that link alive?
I guess keep it simple. I am quite a simple guy, being frank about it. I don't overcomplicate stuff. It may sound like there's lots going on, but it's simple stuff. Yeah, we know that we want to be really well known for doing great retail sites.
Right.
That's in its simplest form.
Right.
So, you know, are we doing something like that? Are we, you know, the guy comes in and he's doing some development work, design and build websites, and, you know, if a page is broken, you know, don't think it's going to be somebody else's job. It's like, hang on, you've got a target and it's broken. That's got to not sell more. Christ, it's got to jump onto this, not wait till the client rings. So it's just by building that whole team who care at the end of the day. You know, if they really care about what they do, they're passionate about what they do, we've got shared values, and they're all buying into the same vision, it just makes rowing that boat to that destination much easier.
All right. Now, will you say a little bit about the time when it didn't? When
I've just got over that. So yeah, I guess. So I was stood in.
If it's not too traumatic.
Yeah, no, you're right. Tick's just gone. So I stood at the top of the Gherkin, and I was dead lucky because we've been ranked as like in the top 10 companies in the UK, not digital. This is like companies for employment, for caring about people. So we're Employer of the Year in the National Business Awards. So I come in on my scooter because I wanted to make an entrance, because we do that in the office anyway. So it's like Dragon's Den, and they're all like judging, and I just scoot in and park it, and then they start interviewing. And there's me with a team of like 27 guys from Cheshire in one location, and then we're up against like multi-billion companies, like we're global. So we didn't win it, which was, I think, the right choice. But I think a little bit of hubris had set in with us. And hubris, for if you don't know it, is sort of way we got a bit arrogant and a bit cocky in some ways. I think what we'd started to do was that we started to win some good projects, and I brought in a really great project manager from a bank. He was so highly skilled at project managing, it was awesome. So he came in, and he was then obviously, as somebody from a bank would do, protect his backside all the time, and so he just wanted more people, and sure, yeah. We abdicated it a little bit, and before long we started getting phone calls from clients saying, "What the fuck's going on? Where's our project? What's going wrong? No, it's not. We've got loads of people. We've got a great PM managing it." And it wasn't. We backed off. We were recruiting on skill and not on value. So everybody that was coming in was skilled, but they just mismatched on the values. And we weren't showing vision. So they were just coming in and doing the job and then going home. And it just, after I'd grown a business from my bedroom table and a box room or whatever, and we got some good clients, it just started to crumble. Like within, it was this cancer that got inside it, and it just ate it like over 12 months. And it took us 2 years to clear it out and grow it back out. The way that we did it, we were told to close the doors, we were told to you can't exist anymore, and it's like, no way, can't else chance, I've done this hard, this is my machine, I've got to keep going. So we just we cleared out the non-blue leafers. They sort of jumped or moved on, or I cleared them out. And then my true blue leafers stuck with us. And I put my hand on and said, look, at the end of the day, it's my fault. It's nobody else's. There's nothing wrong with that PM. He's a bloody great PM. But our values mismatch. So he's got to go and work with where his values match. So it's never his fault. So we regrouped, we set the new values, we set a new vision, where we want to go with it, we set a new sort of plan of action. I said, guys, who's with me? Truth and word, all those guys have stuck with me and grown it back up. So yeah, it was an interesting period, to be fair, but in many ways I'm quite glad to have gone through it, because that hubris was setting in a bit too much.
Don't they say you're not a proper business person until that's happened?
Yeah, and
I don't want it to happen.
No.
Just in case you're thinking.
And people were saying, you've got to, Phoenix it, and I really don't want that chapter in my book, if I'm frank about it. I've got close enough, but no. So now I know what that's like, and somebody showed me a word a few weeks ago, Sishu, I think it is, which is a Finnish word, which is about grit and determination. I thought, I don't want hubris, I want Sishu, that's our words, that's... So it's about that for us.
All right. So just one more just one more question before we ask other people. But if somebody in the audience was trying to figure out what was the right vision for their company and how they'd bring that to life, what advice, if anything, might you give them from your experience?
I'd probably say that don't chase the money. I think so many people, me included, chase the money. And it's like, okay, yeah, you've got to do that, and you've got to do that, and that'll make a bit of money, and that'll lead us to that and that. And by choosing the money route, that is really the key one, because you never really catch the money, and it's what money gets you is what you really, really want. But I think, it's that old cliche, but it's about following that passion. It's about what you really, what do you want to get up every day and go and do if money was no object, and then money should follow along afterwards. And that, in many ways, after I did change that primary question from Blue Leaf, and I changed it for me personally, I changed it from how can I make more money, and I changed it into how can I with even more confidence help, support and lead of people I engage with. And that question for me just started to change the way that I operate. My neck-top computer got reformatted, and more people started to join in with us. So I think my advice being, live with passion. You know, I mean, it's like find what you really enjoy doing and just go after it. I think it's so important.
Excellent, thank you.
Cool, thank you.
That's really good.
All right, good.
I didn't set him up to say that. Are we okay to take a few questions? So who's got a question or two for Adrian? Mike?
Just one. When you're recruiting,
Yes.
how, and I've used similar, except we don't do anything as mathematical as plus and minus, it's either that. How do you guard against groupthink? I.e., you get so many people in who think the same way, you get nothing fresh coming in.
That's interesting. I've not even thought about it like that. I don't think they do. I think values isn't necessarily how people would think. I mean, I have very visual people who meet our values. I get deep thinkers that are
Okay.
So my deep thinkers do want things in full entity of writing, and they want every bloody comma before they can start something. And I've got my other guys who meet the same values who actually say, "Oh fuck that! I'm just going to dive in and just do some stuff." So no, I don't think values restricts that group mentality, unless we say that actually that is a group of people that are just matching the same values. But no, there's going to be always differences in it.
Okay, thank you.
Do you think you could, I'll explain this question.
That's always worrying, isn't it?
Because I'm managing director of a company, but I manage the partners above me who are still involved in the company.
Yes.
And I'm meant to manage the rest of the team. Now, in some respects, I can see a bit of me in your project manager.
Okay.
I'm not a banker, by the way, in any sense.
Cool.
But I suppose the question is about how would you feel about your business and bringing in an MD to then take it to another stage. Do you think that's physically possible?
Okay, it's probably quite interesting that, because I do have an MD. This is a young whippersnapper of a kid that I employed about 8 years ago. Basically.
Just like me again. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in my head, yeah.
But no, this was a kid that, because I realised we had to do digital, so I found this guy who does digital. He's making it up, but like, I think they all do in our sector anyway. But he came along and he made some websites up, and we were selling it and designing it, and he built it, and I thought, this is cool. So we did it for 12 months, and then I said, right, Rob, I'm your first client, you're fresh out of college, you're going to work for me. And he's like, no, I'm not. I was like, well, how much do you want? And he's like, no, I'm not going to work for anybody, I'm just going to work for myself. And I'm sort of thinking, geez, you cocky git, I'm like offering you a job to work on this cool stuff. And so the only way that would work, I felt, right, okay, let him go and I'll go and recruit someone who I can tell what to do. Problem is, I don't know what I'm doing anyway, so I can't really tell them what to do because I don't understand it. And you're keen, so I wouldn't mind hanging on to your shirt sleeves a bit. So we figured out and we set up this other company over here, Blue Leaf Digital, and we traded Blue Leaf and then crossed over to it. Now, the reason for telling you this is that over time he then grew his stature and knowledge and expertise. People respected him for what he was doing, and in a sort of a change around last year, if we're going into pitches, I don't understand how websites work, and I don't have a passion or interest to do it. He does. What they felt was they were always turning to the MD, which is me, and I'm like, but it's him, and then they're feeling, so he went to being the MD, and what we had to do was really, really make it very, very clear who is for what area. So the whole team and the organisation know that 50% of my time is focused on them as people, as individuals. They know that I'm the guy probably on the deck steering the ship. But 50% of it is just supporting them. But it's managing as general and technical and all this sort of stuff. They know it's straight to Rob. So they've just got a clear line in their mind. Occasionally I might drop into a managing directing role and Rob's like, whoa, this is my side. Yeah. And if he crosses and then I kick him back, we're able to push each other back into our sides because it's now very, very clear what our roles are. I think with that shared vision, clarity on who we are and what we're about, the team all know it, I think that's really, really helped it. It means that I don't have to be in there doing day to day. I can just effectively, the merry-go-round is spinning now, and I just got to go in and just keep it going quickly. It's not got to push it like I did a few years ago. So it's about clarity of the job role to the team, I think, is really, really important. And not cross those lines, because then it confuses the team. You don't know where to go. Does that answer it?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's how we sort of do it anyway. You know, it's adapting that to suit what can work with you and your team, I guess.
Andy.
Vision's obviously an absolute imperative, but over time it changes.
Yes.
And staying static to a vision is dangerous.
Yes.
How do you ensure that your vision is fit for purpose day to day?
Yeah, I guess we don't look at it day to day. So I guess, I mean, we have a goal at September 2017 where we want to be, and that's linked around the vision. Yeah, and we just keep on moving towards that. Yeah, you know, it is always changing all the time. Retail wasn't in there, you know, go back 3 or 4 years. So I think it's about actually that whole thing of really taking time to look at your own business and work on your business. You've got to stop. I heard something not too long ago which I thought was pretty cool. It was about, you know, if you speak to any athletes and they know you from a rowing sort of thing, you know, if anybody's been into any sort of peak performance from sports, they tend to do like in blocks, don't they? Do like 3 weeks on and then they take a week off and then relax and, you know, and the body recovers and then you go again and do another 3-week block of high intensity and I thought about it, I thought, yeah, you should be doing that in business, shouldn't we? You should just do 3 weeks of just really pegging it dead hard, you know, and then do a week of like, actually, let's just look at this again. We're going in the right direction, aren't we? You know, because you often don't, do you? You get like 52 weeks down and like, shit, I'm taking a holiday or I'm stopped. It was like kept going. It's that whole thing of we've got the ladder on the right, sort of leaning against the right wall. So it's something we're testing really at the moment of just doing like doing it in blocks really, of just working hard and then not going and lying on the beach for a week, but at least just, you know, reading and learning and looking and stuff like that, you know.
So effectively you're doing kind of retrospectives on your goals and then revisiting, is the vision that we're currently working towards still applicable for business? Yeah, because
it's going to change somewhere, hasn't it? I don't know whether it's 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, a decade. It's going to change because everybody's does. There's very, very few where it stays exactly the same, I think, over a longer period, let's be fair. So it's got to change, but you don't know when that is. You really don't know. So why don't we just take lots of breaks on the way? You know, it's like somebody said, you know, how do you cross the the poles? It was like 10 steps, and then he stopped, and then another 10 steps. And I think that's really true. I think we've got to take those little steps and just check we're going in the right direction, really. And if not, it's normally just tweaking it then, isn't it? It's not like big. Like, you know, it's not like you've got to do a massive change. It's normally a tweaking because you've learned something or you've won something or you've seen something, you know. So that's how we're doing it.
All right. I think we've got time for one more question. Tony, do you mind? Well, maybe two, because I saw David's hand up at the back. Who's first out of you two?
In terms of the values, do you think they're your personal values that are now adopted by the company, or are they shaped by the business, and do you ever get any kind of conflict between that?
Shaped by the team. So, and the way that we created it was we all grouped together and we all put loads of words up on there, and then we then started to cross off sort of like basic ones, and then there's certain ones that really resonated with some people, and it took probably about a day to do it, being frank about it, and we just narrowed it down, and we've now got a list of 9 which we really love, you know. They're up on the wall, and you know, at first it is really quite hard because some people are like, you're just I won't swear, but a values sort of thing, you know, and they just felt I was just ramming values down them. So, you know, in communication, I do a weekly wrap. This is what's happened in the business, guys, and such did really well in team spirit. Well done, value, you know, or, you know, commercially, great, well done, Tom, you did fantastic there, you know, commercially aware. And it was at first, I knew we were, and they did it behind my hand in my face. But over a while, they then started to realise, because then it was like, actually, such and such is not doing too well. So I'm like, why is that, guys? Well, the reason he's not right. He's not right for our team because he doesn't match our values, does he? Oh, okay, if you think that. So they're answering it for me. So they've created it in many senses. I'm now steering it, but they're all buy into it. And then when they come for interviews, you know, they learn it. So yeah, they may not know every one of them off by heart, but they absolutely do know them. You know, tattoos are coming.
Excellent. David.
Well, I mean, you make the point about it evolving over time. I mean, it inevitably, for all of us, it does. But I do think there is a difficult balance between actually finding one part of your vision is really easy and another bit is really hard, and thinking, I'll tell you what, we'll just adapt this, we'll dump the thing we're not very good at, and we'll just do this thing that we find quite easy. Distinguishing between, actually, we're not doing it well, but it remains absolutely central to what we should be doing, and actually learning and saying, okay, that hasn't developed, and that's probably because it's not right. That,
Yes.
I think, can be a difficult contrast. So,
It can.
how have you dealt with that conflict? How have you taken things off your list and done it with a clear conscience that you're not just wimping out?
It's pretty damn hard, to be frank, because there is sometimes a conflict in me and Rob, for instance. You know, actually, I think we should know. And then we have to actually go back and say, but is that linked to our vision? Is that really it? Because actually, no, I just feel quite attached to it, if I'm frank. So, you know, it took me ages to dump certain parts of my business, because my comfort blanket is branding, marketing, design. I know print inside out, but I'm like the CEO of a digital agency, you know. So that comfort blanket for me was very, very hard to let go of. I probably felt I held on to some things probably a tad too long at times, but I can't think of one thing that I've let go of in our business over the 15 years, which was like, I wish we hadn't stopped doing that. I can think of multiple things in our business that we've had to go at doing platforms and doing this and doing that, which we had to go at, and it didn't quite work, and then we relinquished it, and it was the right thing to do. So I think, I'd probably say just test it. Just try it, just like, okay, let's ease off, or just get a lesser team on it or something. You'll find that the energy will go from it. And certainly if it isn't linked to that vision, if it isn't linked to that passion, it will disappear quickly, I think. That's my take on it.
Cool. Well, for the sake of time, I'm going to wrap up there. Tony, I know you probably have another question, but we can grab another coffee or something. So can I ask you to just go